Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Landed for Success. I'm so excited about everything that's happening here at Landed for Success. And before we get started, I wanted to remind everyone that Landed for Success Untold Stories, Volume 3, is now available for purchase on Amazon, as well as 1 and 2 as well. And what I love about Landed for Success Untold Stories is the fact that we have folks from just about every walk of life. And I encourage you to grab a copy and read their stories because I believe, their stories can help each one of us land for success as well. Daniel, as an example, as a 15-year-old, said, hurt people. Would you guys agree with that? And fast forward to today, Daniel thought, or at that point, he thought using his fist was the answer to life, and he ended up in juvie. That was his wake up call. And so Daniel ended up one day becoming an MMA fighter, never lost a fight in the MMA. And he eventually won. If you're a wrestling fan, pro wrestling fan, I love wrestling. As an immigrant kid, my parents watch wrestling, so I watch wrestling. And today my kids think I'm crazy. But, Daniel ended up winning the $1 million prize in WWE's Tough Enough reality TV show. But today, you know what Daniel does? He has started alternative schools, private schools throughout the United States to help kids, teenagers who doesn't fit the normal mode of schooling. And what's really neat, in a recent interview, someone said, Daniel, if it wasn't for you, some of these kids will be probably lying on the side of a ditch or in jail or in prison or something like that. So that's what I love about the folks in our Atlanta for Success community. We have Swapna, who a mompreneur who won Mrs. India Universe, right? You have Pamela, a single mom whose spouse walked out on her and her 2 kids and left her with no housing, $100 in her bank account, and she picked herself up and got into the direct sales industry and started making a 6+ figure income. So these are some of the most incredible individuals that are my heroes. And I trust that you will also grab a copy of Landed for Success and be inspired by their stories as well. Well, today we have another individual that I believe she has an incredible story that will inspire you to success as well. Rishani is a real estate lawyer, and she will also be a feature speaker at our upcoming event this Saturday at our Land for Success Business Expo. So, Rishani, welcome this morning.
Hi, Gordon. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. I just actually want to start off by saying what you guys are doing at Land for Success is amazing. You guys are bringing different groups of people together from all walks of life and sharing their story, and it's so amazing to hear and see as well. So I'm actually very happy to be here today.
Wow, thank you. Well, we're excited to have you this coming Saturday as well. I want to dive right into our conversation this morning. Keep it really informal. And by the way, if someone's watching for the very first time here, please type a 1 in the comment so we can acknowledge you for being here. And Rishani, if folks have any questions for you, I hope they'll write them in the comment for you as well. And we'll do our best throughout this conversation to try to answer some of your questions. And if not, we'll definitely circle back afterward and try to answer them as well. So why don't we jump right in? And, I know you're a successful real estate lawyer. Family is so important for you. This is what I love about you. So could you maybe share with the audience a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So, for as long as I can remember, ever since I was young, the dream was to become a lawyer. That's what I always wanted to do. I think that actually started from when I was as young as like 6 years old. Like, I would see like injustice happening, and like from a young age, it's kind of always what I like to do. Like, I even in middle school, like we took a trip to the courthouse, and I just thought lawyers were like the coolest people, and that was kind of always the goal as well. And for me, just to give you guys a bit of background about me, so my family background is also in real estate. My father is Rishani Vettyvel. He's the broker of record of like Homely Future Realty, which has over 600 agents. Within our family as well, we have a mortgage investment corporation, and our family's kind of been all real estate. And I also kind of grew up with the real estate world since I was young. And even when I went to university, right? I always wanted to become a lawyer. I also actually got my real estate license as young as while I was doing my undergraduate education. So I actually got my real estate license, and then afterwards I went to law school. So I did my undergraduate degree at U of T, then I went to law school, then I came back and did my master's. It was kind of just boom, 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 one after another with the formal education. So I kind of just wanted to get all that out of the way. I did my master's here at Osgoode Hall Law School. I worked at like several different places trying to get different experiences into the legal world. And then I actually worked in downtown Toronto for another law firm. And I did a lot of different areas. I did real estate, I did wills, I did corporate work, I did immigration. And then I actually stayed with them while I was studying for the bar. And this is kind of the point in my life where a lot of things changed. So I got called to the bar. I actually got offered from my previous firm to just stay on board with them. So they actually offered me like, this is X salary for you. You did such a great job. You can stay with us. And at that point, I was kind of thinking through like, what do I really want from my life, right? Do I really want to work at a salary for like a good law firm downtown, or what is it that I really want? And luckily for me, I had a lot of guidance in my life. So I had my dad, I had other people that I knew. And at that point, I was just maybe in my mid 20s, like mid to maybe early, late 20s. And I made the decision that, you know what, no, this is not what I want to do. Like, I know formal education got me up to this point, but from here, like, what do I want to do? I have my degree now. I'm getting called to the bar, and I just made the decision right then and there to just start my own firm. So I just made the decision, like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to start this. And I was pretty confident I had enough experience because I got a lot of experience from my past work. I've been in the real estate world basically my whole life. So I felt, you know what, let's just try this. Let's see what happens. And now I'm 7 years in. I'm happy to report that things are going great. I have one lawyer that works with me. I have 6 staff members that work, and I'm still planning and growing every day. So that's currently where I'm at now. Like, I often talk to other people like realtors and mortgage brokers. People always ask me like, how is the market doing? How are things going? So I always love to just sit and talk to them, as well as like, I feel like I've accumulated over the last 7 years so many things I just want to share with people about just breaking the barriers, just trying something new. And that's a lot about what like I want to share on Saturday too. But that's just a quick summary of me. So I'm here now, 7 years in as a real estate lawyer and loving what I do.
Well, that's absolutely incredible for sharing that. Let me ask you this. See your success today. It must have been a not take, an offer, a big law firm downtown and strike out on your own. What was that? What was that like?
Well, it's always scary to take that leap because you know when you are like you're getting a return offer from a company, right? You know, okay, it's set at this amount, this is X salary, this is what they're offering me, these are the hours I do. Everything's very stable, right? Like you know exactly what's going to happen. But when you make the jump towards becoming self-employed, doing things for your own, starting up your own firm or whatever it is that you're doing, there's always that fear of the unknown that's there, right? Like you don't know what's going to come, but you just know, you know what, like currently my life is right here, but I have the potential to make it up here, right? So, or even higher than that, right? So it's taking that leap. It is scary when you start, but it's definitely well worth it. As long as you have the right support around you as well, it's definitely worth it. You definitely have to put in a lot of hard work, a lot of time management, a lot of just tuning out kind of the fear, I guess, and then just doing it. I guess that's the biggest thing for a lot of people. Like it's that fear. Like you don't want to leave something that you know so well and something that's stable. Like, you know, I'm going to make X salary per year and then just kind of dive into something completely brand new. You don't know if you're going to do well or you're going to fall flat on your face, but it's just kind of one of those things. You just have to kind of do it. Otherwise you're never going to know.
Wow, just do it.
Yeah.
Maybe your line just sitting there. So I want to welcome Jonda, who's watching from Oregon, Dr. Lester Bailey from Arizona. So the folks who are watching from far, thank you so much. Rishani, you would love Dr. Bailey. He's a retired police officer, 30
Oh,
years.
wow. Okay.
He's actually bodyguard for 2 United States presidents. Can you imagine?
Wow.
And here he is. When you first started, when you first started your business, did you realize that somebody like that would show up and be watching you speak today?
No, I did not. No. That's incredible.
That is, isn't it? So, you mentioned a little bit about Saturday, so I wanted to maybe just highlight this on the bottom of the screen for a minute. Rishani, you're going to be one of the featured speakers this Saturday.
Yes. Yes.
At our Business Expo. We have a number of speakers. What I'm really excited about is we're launching for the first time Success Talks.
Okay.
And we're featuring students, 10 students from the ages of 9 to 21. And each one of them will have 5 minutes to talk about something they're passionate about. And we're going to have trophies and scholarship, cash prizes for them as well.
Right.
Let me ask you this. I know we didn't talk about it before. Our youth is our future, as we know. What would you say to some of our young people today about speaking in front of an audience? Because that's a tough thing to do. What would you say to some of those kids right now that would be speaking this Saturday?
I think I would say don't overthink it. I think that's the biggest killer when people are doing public speaking. It's that there's that fear. They always wonder, what if I screw up? What if people don't like what I'm saying? There's so much pressure to speak in a certain way, and there's so much fear behind it in terms of like a confidence in yourself, right? Because they get nervous, they don't feel a confidence in themselves, and then because they don't feel a confidence in themselves, that affects how they speak, right? And I think it's just don't overthink it. If you know what you're going to say and you've practiced what you said, then just don't overthink it. Just believe in yourself and then just speak. And when you do that, you're going to be more than fine, because the confidence from your voice is going to show. And I think that's really important. I think that's a big barrier for a lot of people. It's just that I usually speak to a lot of young people, and then they always say, I'm just scared to speak. It's so nerve-wracking. What if I screw up? What if I make a mistake? And I think sometimes that fear in and of itself sometimes leads to that. So I think it's really important. Just don't overthink it. Just be confident in yourself and you'll be okay.
Wow. Overthinking.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back when you that lead to start your own business. Right? Some people never make that leap probably because they overthink it. Would you agree with that?
Sorry, it cut out a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. You mentioned about don't overthink when you're speaking on stage.
Yes.
I want to go back for a minute when you talked about, the opportunity to take that cushy job, from a big company and a cushy income, but you made that leap again to starting your own business. There are some people who overthink and they don't. What would you say to somebody like that?
I guess the same thing, because if you think about it, if you overthink the decision, right, from a stable income to becoming self-employed, if you overthink it, you're not going to start it, right? When you start to think about it from every angle, right? If you overthink, okay, if I start my own business, I have to factor in this. It is important to do planning. It is important, but sometimes when you overthink that, you may ruin things for yourself as well, right? There's just certain things you just have to start and you just have to see how things go. And at the end of the day, if worse comes to worse, like you can always go get another job, right? Like if you start your own business and at the end of the day, worst case scenario, you completely fall on your feet, then there's always an option B for you. But at the end of the day, you do have to be yourself, right? Like you have to just be confident in yourself. You have to believe if you are contemplating that decision, there must be a reason. You must feel that, okay, I must have experience by this point. I can do this. I feel like I can do this. You just have to go with that inner feeling. If you overthink it, you're not going to do it. If you start thinking, okay, if I start my own business, I have to be responsible for the accounting portion. I have to be responsible for the admin portion. Because when you start your own business, you're not just, in my particular case, I'm a lawyer, right? But when you start your own business, you're not just a lawyer. You become a business person as well, right? And I think for me in my life, I think I got really lucky in that aspect because of the family that I grew up in. My parents themselves are entrepreneurs. So I think for myself, I saw my dad start Home Life Future when I was 12. So for me, I kind of got lucky in that aspect because I kind of saw what entrepreneurial life was like. And then so when I was put in that same position where I thought, you know what, like I am in my mid 20s right now, like I could easily work for another law firm for another 5 years and decide, or if I truly believe in myself, because I know what my previous work, like I was basically doing things from start to end. And I felt multiple times, you know what, I could do this on myself. I could start a company. So if you do that, just go with that and just see how things go. There are going to be things you don't know, right? Like, so for example, like the accounting aspect of being self-employed, you're not going to know that, but you can, with the right guidance, you can hire someone that knows that, right? Like you can delegate certain things. And I think that's important for people to know. Just don't overthink it. If you do, you kind of just have to go with yourself. Like, and sometimes, yeah, you're not going to succeed right away. Like the first few years are going to be really tough. You're going to run through challenges, but I think you just have to believe in yourself and just don't give up. Because if you do, then that is the way to, like, you're not going to succeed that way, right? When things get tough, you just have to kind of keep going and you're going to learn things on the way. And if you don't, like, you can go to networking events, you can meet people, you can hire business coaches, there's so many things you can do. There's so many things. And that's one of the great things about Land for Success, bringing together so many different people, especially for people who are thinking of starting your own business. You may need advice, right? And that's what Saturday is for. And if there's any young people that do come this Saturday that just want advice, or they just want that bit of that pick me up for, what should I do? Should I start my own business, or should I take that leap? It doesn't even have to be starting your own business, but just taking that chance on yourself. I think it's really important, to just do it and not overthink and let fear ruin your decisions.
I love you mentioned about getting coaching and mentorship, right? And the Saturday, I know we have free complimentary tickets. So for anyone who's, our friends that are watching, please it and come and join us, right?
For sure, for sure.
During lunch, a VIP lunch. So the VIPs will have like preferential seating. They're going to have lunch. They're going to get to spend more time with you. They get to spend time with Dr. Haley Patry. You and I talked about how she went from her first year, because she's gone through so many traumas in her own personal life. As a happy coach, I mean, who can use more happiness right now, right? In her first year, she made a 6+ figure income.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really admirable.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, being a busy mom as well. She has 3 boys, all with their own various different challenges.
Okay.
She's never worked more than 40 hours a week. Like she works between
That's great. Yeah.
a week and makes a 6-figure income. So if somebody's thinking about, I want to be a successful coach, start a coaching career, make 6 figures, and that, definitely come and spend time with her. Does that make sense?
For sure.
Much. I wanted to switch gears again for another minute. You mentioned at age 12. Wow.
Yeah.
At age 12, you were already watching your dad.
Yeah.
In the real estate business. Now, I know our conversation is about you today, but people today see your dad, very successful in the real estate business. 600+ agents. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They only see the success today. Are there anything you could share about, what were some of the struggles? Like just to inspire maybe some of us who are thinking, okay, like I want to be like your dad. But was it always what's the word I'm looking for? Was it always easy for him?
Definitely not. No. And there are definitely days, because not everything in life is on the up and up, right? There are times when, like, even like us growing up, like there'd be times where like we would go on like a family vacation, and the point of a family vacation is to enjoy your time together as a family. And like I know my dad would be on the phone, he'd be answering questions, different agents would call him, and like people would have questions. And like growing up, we sort of realized as well, like, so I asked my dad one day, like, we're on vacation. Can we just tell everyone, like, can they call back after? But like, and then he would tell me, in the business world, like this is part of the business, right? Like he's a broker of record. So many people depend on him. So when they need help, they depend on him. And you're kind of working like around the clock too. And it's kind of how you're building yourself as well, right? And there was always so much times where like even like when we were younger, we didn't always like see our dad all the time. He was working very hard, sometimes like even like 2 or 3 different jobs when we were even younger than that, right? But that's sort of the hustle and the grind to get to where you are now, right? Like it requires hard work. And I think for us, like my sister's a lawyer as well. She actually works at Gowlings in downtown. So we're both lawyers. And growing up, we kind of saw a lot of hard work as well. And I think it kind of shaped us into who we are now. But yeah, to answer your question, it's not always smooth. There's always things, there's always like late working nights. There's also a lot of stress that comes along with being self-employed and running your own business. But it's just one of those things, you just tackle it one at a time. And then you watch, like for me, I got to watch him go through different hurdles. And then that really shapes like who we are and like how we face hardships when we're faced with them, right? So, and I think that's also really important.
Wow, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: age 12, the real estate market through your dad's lenses,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you've also seen real estate through your own lenses as a
yeah, as a lawyer, yeah.
For some of the people who are in the real estate business right now, the market's kind of tough, right? Interest rates are high, inflation, etc.
Mm-hmm.
You say to some of the realtors that are struggling in the real estate business today?
I would tell them, so it's actually funny. I had a conversation with a few realtors just about a few days ago, actually. Like, I think one of them was telling me, like, Rishani, it's just so slow right now. The interest rates keep going up, and they were saying that it's more of the announcements that are really kind of affecting the market, because they would say that like if they just raised it, then that I think it's an anticipation factor for a lot of people. So I think one realtor actually came and told me it's actually the announcements, because they would announce that there'd be an interest rate announcement in a couple of days. So I think when that happens, a lot of buyers just put a pause on it, and they kind of just wait and see what happens. And that's kind of how the trends in the market work, right? But I actually met another realtor who told me, you know what, Rishani, no matter what, if you are a really good realtor, it does not matter the market. If the market is good or the market is bad, you'll find a way to work around it. Because at the end of the day, the market's the market, right? Like interest rates are going up, which means that it is harder for people who are renting, especially when like if you are planning to buy a property for the purpose of rent and then your mortgage payments are higher than the rental income, that tends to turn off a lot of buyers. But at the same time, there's a lot of other avenues. Like there's different ways for investors versus primary residents, people who are buying properties for the purpose of living there versus people who are buying properties for the purpose of investing. And I just find that like it really depends on the realtor I talk to be honest. Some of them say no matter what the condition is, we are here to make it work. You know, if you want to sell a property, you'll sell it. Like I actually have a file that just came in, right? And I talked to the realtor, we're doing a closing within 1 week. They thought that the property would not sell for higher than 550,000. So even when they were listing it, they said like, you know, we need to sell our condo, but we don't think it's going to go higher than 550. And it actually sold for 700,000. We were all completely shocked. But then at the end of the day, that goes to, I guess the credit goes to the realtor, the area, because like it doesn't mean that it's the be all end all just because the interest rate's going up, right? I think that also comes back to the mindset of the realtor as well. And yeah,
wow.
Yeah,
That's so important, right?
Yeah.
I'm no longer a realtor. In my early days as a realtor,
Yeah.
I remember interest rates were 12 and 13%.
Yeah.
And then second mortgages were like 18%. And I was told that there was a market when it was 21%.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's for some people in the real estate industry, they think it's a tough market. But I look against somebody like your dad, who has probably seen the ups and downs.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Mark, and that just a consistency of staying focused and consistent. Now, I'm just going to remind the folks one more time. Thank you so much for being here. This is my special guest, Rishani, who is going to be a guest speaker at our upcoming event as well. So if you want to come and see her speak, okay, please come and support her. Grab a free complimentary ticket, you guys, and come and join us. It's all day. We're going to have a youth leader speakers contest as well. If you purchase VIP ticket, it includes lunch. And I think your dad's going to be there too, right?
He is, yeah. He's one of the special guests, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to be one of the special guests. For some of you who are coming, Maybe you're just starting out in business. Maybe you're already successful in business. We're going to have folks that are just getting started to individuals who have already built multi-million-dollar businesses that will be there as a VIP guest as well. So come and rub shoulders with them, you guys, right? That power association is so important. Rishani, I'm going to pivot again and ask you this. There are so many young people out there today that are thinking, I want to get into the housing market, but especially in Toronto, it's a little bit tough, right? And some of them have like amazing combined income.
Mm-hmm.
Price is just, they're thinking, hey, maybe it's out of reach. What would you say to some of the younger folks right now that are looking at, hey, I want to get into the real estate market? What are some of the pitfalls and things maybe they should be looking at or avoiding before they go buy a house?
That's a very good question, actually. My first thing that I would say is that go speak to a realtor that you know or a mortgage broker that you know. Sit down with them, and they will help guide you through, like thinking through, like what kind of area do you want to buy in, how much do you have in the bank? How much do you guys make? What's your annual income? Because I think the very first thing for people is that you need to make sure you can afford it, right? You need to make sure, like, if you are going to embark on this journey, that this is not going to put you into debt, right? Because that's the opposite of what you're trying to do, right? Like, how much money do you have? What ways are there for you to do your financial planning, right? Like, talk to a realtor, see how much, like, they can assess you, right? Talk to a realtor, talk to a mortgage broker. They will be able to put in a financial plan for you, right? So that you know, like, are you ready to buy a property now? Or do you think maybe you need to save up, buy a property in a year's time from now, right? Some of the things to look at, I guess, is the area, like where you want to buy, what do you think is within your means? Like, do you want to start off with a condo? Then maybe like you start off with a condo, then maybe you want to move into a house. Would you be able to then rent out that condo and buy into the house? Or would you have to like sell the condo and buy into a house? It's just, you'd have to just do your financial planning, I would say. Like, talk to a good realtor, a good mortgage broker. They'll kind of get you into loop so that by the time, because the worst thing, right? Because I'm a lawyer, right? So we always look at things from the legal side of things, right? So the thing that I tend to see a lot from clients is that they buy things they can't afford, right? This tends to happen a lot with the pre-construction market as well. Like, they'll purchase a pre-construction property, they'll put down the deposit, then they can't close by the time closing comes. So they actually have to assign the property, or they have to find different ways. Like, so they may just borrow money from someone and then close and then put a second mortgage. And we see so many things, but at the end of the day, I think you have to be realistic about what you can buy and what you can't, and talk to a good realtor, talk to a good mortgage broker. It will help you financially plan for yourself, and that's the best thing you can do for yourself, I would say, because they will be the ones to even guide you. Like, there's a lot of good realtors that will tell you, you know what, this is not the time for you. Let's wait it out. Let's wait for 6 months. And then I know there's some realtors that will tell you, you know what, follow my plan. And I know there's one realtor, he's actually going to be a special guest at Saturday's event. He always has a slogan, like, you can buy 3 properties within 5 years if you stick to a proper plan, right? So I think for that, talk to a good realtor broker, because by the time you get to us, if you don't have a good plan and you can't close, there's almost so much we can do to help you, right? So.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah.
That talks about 5 properties in 3 years and becoming financially free. That's pretty cool. We also have other guests there that folks will be able to meet and network with. Right. One guest that I'm going to introduce to you, Rishani, when you're there is this individual was in the IT world, got into the mortgage business because he wanted to spend more time with family.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought and flipped over 28 properties.
Wow.
Buying real estate at 80 cents on the dollar and using other people's money.
That's great. That's great.
Like, if somebody wanted to create wealth in real estate, would you want to meet this individual? And here's the neat thing. The fact that you're there as a real estate lawyer is so amazing, because folks that are thinking, okay, can I make money in real estate? Is it legal to buy real estate with other people's money? Like in Hamilton, just recently, one of his clients bought a house for just over around 800 grand, but you know how much the deposit was? Take about $10.
Good for them. Good for them.
To tie up an $800 property that was about 20% below market. Real estate agents are selling stuff above asking price. So there's the opposite, right? So for some of you who are realtors, you're watching like, Gordon, like, is that even legal? So we're gonna have folks like that in
Yeah,
the room as well on the 23rd. So we're gonna be able to meet, network, learn from each other, have a lot of fun at the same time. So I
for
hope you guys
sure.
take advantage of the day, grab a free complimentary ticket, or get a VIP ticket. That is the best value. Spend time, right, with Rishani, with all the other speakers, where you can actually gain, spend some quality time with them. So before we go, I have a couple of questions that I want to put you on the spot. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
I want to, I want my friend. I know your friends already know about you. I want some of my friends to know a little bit more about you. Okay,
Okay.
Rishani, what is your favorite color?
I would say blue.
Blue. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why blue?
I don't know. I always just like the color blue. So even you can see my logo at the back here. So even when I started Vettyvel, I was like, yeah, I want it to be blue. I like blue. I don't know. I just think it's a nice color. I
Okay.
like red too, but I like blue more.
I bet you your dad's favorite color is green now.
The whole life logo, right?
So blue. Okay. Now, if you went out for ice cream right now with your family, what would be your favorite flavor of ice cream?
I would say cookie dough ice cream.
Cookie dough. Okay, I love
Yes,
it.
I love the vanilla integration with the cookie dough. So,
Have you ever heard of Brett's ice cream?
which
B R
ice cream?
Brett's BRETT.
I've heard of it. Never tried it.
Oh, it's amazing. They have one here in the beaches. I think they have several of them right now. Every week they have new flavors. It's all
Okay.
uh, right, like all freshly made. It's incredible. Yeah,
Right. Right. Cool.
yeah. So if you ever see one of those, try it. I don't.
I'll
I don't get paid for promoting them, but
definitely try it. That sounds pretty cool.
yeah. Now, last question for you. Okay,
Okay.
if you could wave a magic wand right now and do one thing for Rishani, not somebody else, because I know you have such a big heart. You're always looking at how you can serve and help your clients and help somebody else. You're always thinking about somebody else.
Right.
But if you could wave the magic wand and do one thing for Rishani right now, what would you do?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't really know. Currently, I am pretty happy with how my life is. Ah, I don't know. That's a tough one. What would you do?
No, that's for you. Seriously, that's a tough one, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, it's a really tough one. Yeah.
You have a big heart. You're always thinking like, okay, how can I help somebody else? How can I serve my clients? But what would you do if you could wave the magic wand and there's one thing you could do for yourself right now? What would you do?
Um, I guess maybe hope that things don't change and that for like I continue to not lose my drive to continue like learning and wanting to succeed. I find that like I think sometimes as you get a little bit older and like sometimes you start to let fear in or like sometimes you hear like negative voice. I guess I would wish for myself not to let negativity come in.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. I guess I think I would just, if I had to wave a magic wand, not let like negative thoughts come into my head and just continue wanting to like have the drive to succeed and push forward and just like be positive when things don't go to plan because like it's your mind that's everything, right? Like so you can either have a negative mindset when something goes wrong or a positive mindset, right? So I guess I would wish that like I wouldn't have negative thoughts that come in, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's a really hard question. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Cone Hill talks about mindset. Dr. Lester Bailey, I mentioned to you, that's watching from Arizona right now. He always says, you can't afford the luxury of a negative thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And again, for the folks,
No problem. Thank you so much.
please come and support Rishani. She'll be speaking this Saturday. And again, grab a VIP ticket, right? Spend time with Rishani during lunch and all the other amazing speakers and VIPs that are there. Now, before we go, Rishani, do you have any final thoughts you would like to share with the folks who are watching?
I guess I would just want to thank you for having me on today. And I would want to tell everybody here, please grab your ticket for Land of Success this Saturday, either the complimentary ticket or the VIP ticket. I'd recommend the VIP ticket. You guys will meet so many great people this Saturday. And it's so good for you to come out and then just see how different people are, how they've gotten to where they are. And I recommend every one of you to just come out this Saturday. It's good to meet people. It's good to network, and you don't know, it might change something for you. So I recommend everyone get a ticket.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for being here and everything. We look forward to Saturday.
Okay. All right. Thank you.